Part 81. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 808. Gucci's face was slightly cold. This world, or in other words, this city, Siwenman, is indeed not as peaceful as it appears on the surface. Sutingyu and Qin-Chi moved their positions and came closer to see the contents on the computer clearly. After hearing what Gucci said, Sutingyu looked at the computer screen with curiosity. Sivan Gate, Death Gate? What is this? A homophone. When Sutingyu saw the Death Gate mentioned many times in the document, inexplicably, he thought of the city name Sivan Gate. This round of copy world is indeed not an ordinary world. Often in an ordinary world, only humans stand at the top of the biological chain. But in this replica world hundreds of years ago, several black holes suddenly appeared in the sky, on the surface, in the sea, and as time went by, the black holes in the process of emergence, it will pollute the surrounding environment, causing nearby animals and plants to be infected and mutate. Even humans who have stood at the top of the biological chain for thousands of years are not immune. When the black hole matures, it will swallow up all visible objects in a certain area, and finally, everything will disappear. The sky has lost its color, the bare land is like a stagnant ocean, only a cruel calm remains after the devastation of the doomsday. The high-level human beings in the copy world also resisted, wanting to find out the source of the black hole and prevent the emergence of the black hole. However, the current level of human science and technology pales in comparison to the mysterious and terrifying black hole, and in the end it was in vain. And return. Although it is impossible to stop the devouring of black holes, the top human beings in the copy world have gradually figured out the areas where black holes appear most frequently, that is, islands and isolated islands. If the island is rich in species, the possibility of a black hole appearing will be greatly increased. After this discovery was verified, hundreds of specially developed and cultivated isolated islands were born, and Sivan Gate was one of them. So, we are in a goo farm. And unfortunately, Sivan Gate has been selected by the black hole. Sutingyu took a deep breath and spoke in a deep tone. The fat man looked panicked. Then what should we do now? How about we leave Sivan Gate? Have you ever seen anyone leaving Sivan Gate at the check-in point? Gucci asked rhetorically. Is this a situation where we are not allowed to leave and we have to wait for death? The fat man said with a bitter look on his face. You don't necessarily die if you stay. If you leave Sivan Gate and fail to check in time, the punishment of the dungeon will make the player uncomfortable. Qin-Chi also finished reading the resources on the computer and looked away. As mentioned above, at present, black holes have not really appeared. However, the top human beings in this copy world cannot think of a way to prevent black holes from appearing. Instead, they have come up with a machine to guide the generation of black holes. Gucci raised his lips slightly. Aroused a hint of ridicule. Hundreds of years of secret confrontation with black holes have not resulted in some research. For example, every 30 years, there will be a period of frequent black hole explosions, and the number of black holes that appear is roughly 5 to 10. As long as 10 isolated islands are prepared for incubating black holes and installed with guidance machines, other countries and regions in the world will be free from the disturbance of black holes and can sit back and relax. If that were the case alone, that would be a good thing. But in the early stages of research, the high-level humans of the replica world discovered that there were no signs of human activity on these incubation islands, and there was no way to guide the black hole. So, Siwenman has become a water tourism city, attracting countless tourists to the island every day of the year. Such high-level human leaders, in a high-sounding way, used their colleagues who were kept in the dark to sacrifice themselves, while they themselves hid in the background, enjoying comfort and wealth. Where is that? If you find it and destroy it, will there be no black holes? Hope rekindled in the fat man's eyes. Sutingyu's tone was a little heavy. That's not necessarily true, it will take a while for the black hole to appear and be completely swallowed. I suspect that the Sivan gate has been targeted by the black hole. Those machines are equivalent to being in the vastness above the fog. A lighthouse guides ships forward. The way for players to break the situation is to destroy the lighthouse, extend the time for the black hole to completely swallow it, and try to survive the 15 days of dungeon time. Fatty Nono said, then, the NPCs at Sivan Gate still have no way to survive in the end. Seeing this, Sutinyu stood up, walked over and patted the fat man on the shoulder, comforting him, "It's okay, it's just a copy of the world, it's all fake." "Yeah, it's all fake, so that's okay." Fatty also realized that he was being a little pretentious, and quickly gave Sutinyu a simple and honest smile. After Sutinyu comforted the fat man, although she looked relaxed, she felt very heavy inside. "I hope this is really just a replica world and not a human tragedy that occurs in the real world." "Guju, what are you looking for?" Sutinyu turned her head and asked when she saw that Gucci had taken back the computer and seemed to be searching for something. "I'm looking for where the guidance machine is installed. In addition, since the city government has archived the secret of the black hole, it means that there is an insider in the city government," Gucci replied while operating. Sutinyu immediately became energetic, "Then look for it quickly and see if there is any information to guide the machine, so that we can destroy it quickly. The mayor is missing. I originally thought he had an accident, but now, could it be that the mayor got the news in advance and took the opportunity to leave Sivan Gate?" Qin looked at the three of them and spoke quietly. "That's right, black holes can infect all living things. The long-haired man we met before, and the person who came back from the dead in the hospital basement, holy shit. We can't rule out the possibility that black holes have already appeared." Sutinyu biting her lower lip gently. The fat man swallowed his saliva, his voice a little unsteady. "Boss, the information also said that environmental infection will also occur before the black hole is about to appear." That's right, that's right." Gucci interrupted the conversation between the two. "I found a few places, come and take a look." Gucci turned around and looked at the computer screen. "Hey, these places look a bit familiar, they all seem to be check-in points." Sutinyu's eyes widened in surprise. "Is it possible that the check-in points in the past 2 days are all prompts from the panel system?" Just like what Gucci said, players were so anxious to check in that they ignored the abnormal conditions that occurred at these check-in points. "This place." Gucci tapped a line of fonts on the computer screen with his fingertips and looked at Sutinyu alone. "Is this the area where we met the long-haired man that night?" Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 809. Sutinyu checked the map on her mobile phone, and then nodded affirmatively. "It's true. Could there be a black hole there already? How about we go there tonight and have a look?" Sutinyu suggested. The fat man looked hesitant. "Then we won't collect the treasures." "Gukideo, just let some members of Scene collect it. When the battle mode starts tonight, if the map is refreshed every 3 hours, there will be enough time. Before refreshing the map, Sutinyu, you are responsible for taking away the newly obtained treasures from other members. When the time comes, let Wei Chuhi and Fen Nanbei will cover you." Sutinyu nodded, "Yes." Gucci returned his gaze to the computer screen and sent the location information of the guidance machine to his mobile phone alone, and then sent it to Sutinyu and the other three. "There are only 7 locations, that's all." Sutinyu looked at the 7 different locations. They were all distributed some distance apart. If she was alone, she might not be able to clear them all out even if she was given 2 days. However, there are about 100 members of Seeing, so they can divide the work and cooperate. By the way, if the guidance machine is near the location where the black hole appears, will we be infected if we come in contact with it? Does the information mention the infection period? Sutinyu suddenly realized this problem and hurriedly asks Yanguchi. "The infection period is 5 to 7 days. Referring to the long-haired man we have seen, that is the state of complete infection." The time setting of this round of dungeons should be that the infection has already occurred for several days before the players come. Expect. It takes 7 days for a black hole to completely form, and it will take at least 13 days for a black hole to completely swallow up a floating city island of the size of Siwinman. The existence of a bootable machine will accelerate the creation of a black hole, which is expected to take 2 to 4 days. Sutingyu asked about the infection, and Gucci simply told the three of them the exact time. The cycle from the birth of a black hole to its complete engulfment is 20 days, and the guidance machine can make the black hole appear 2 to 4 days faster. The real cycle is 16 to 18 days, plus it is unclear how the timeline setting of the copy of the black hole is how many days in advance. In the end, the black hole period left for players is definitely less than 15 days. Players need to survive in the copy for 15 days. What Sutingyu and the others can do now is to clear out the guidance machine and extend the cycle. Sutingyu blinked his big eyes, then the situation is unclear now. But the infection cycle of the black hole takes several days, so we can solve it quickly. Knock knock. The closed door was knocked from outside. Gucci glanced at the fat man closest to the door. The latter understood, took a few steps over, and opened the door. Wei Chu came in from outside. Boss, all the treasures have been collected. Fat man, close the door, Gucci said. Okay, boss. Gucci pointed to the ground, take it out. Wei Chu complied and took out all the treasures in the inventory. There were so many treasures, Sutingyu collected them all. Okay, that's about it. It's not yet 9 o'clock yet. Let's go back and rest first. We'll set off at 0 o'clock. Gucci looked at the time on his phone and said. After midnight, the fight mode will appear, and Sutingyu and the others can only adjust their biological clocks during sleep in order to maintain sufficient energy. Good. Copy on the third day. Copy time, midnight. Dear cool summer day players, please note that the battle mode of this round of dungeons will start immediately every 3 hours, players with treasures will reveal their hidden locations, and the time limit is 8 minutes. Players are requested to actively participate in the challenge mode, and I wish all players a happy game and a happy journey. 0 o'clock has arrived, and the new battle mode has begun. Sutingyu set the alarm clock and took a nap. When he woke up, he noticed that the map's validity had been extended. According to this rule, the validity of subsequent maps may continue to be extended. This was a good thing for Sutingyu. After all, the treasures on her body would not be detected by the panel system, while other people's treasures would be directly exposed. This was simply a naked temptation towards Sutingyu, as if there were countless little goblins teasing her, come on, come and catch the slaves. Can Sutingyu tolerate this? Even a little fairy can't bear it? Because he has other things to do tonight, and the time limit is not very long, Sutingyu can only let go of the red dot little goblin on the map for the time being, and wait for the opportunity to favor him again. Sutingyu left the residence and went downstairs to meet Qinchi. There are currently 7 known guidance machines, which are distributed in different areas of Sivan Gate. Sutingyu formed a team of 5 people and went to one of the areas to clear the guidance machines. The other 6 areas were given to other members of scene to form a team. Clear. However, the situation near the guidance machine was unclear. In order to reduce the risk, Gucci decided to let his team try it out first. After confirming that the guidance machine could be cleared, he would then notify other members of scene. Everyone is here, let's go. Gucci ordered people to count all the people. After confirming that they were correct, they started to separate. Outside the gate of the community, ordinary-looking vans drove out. In a milk tea shop across the street from the community, a man wearing a black sun hat saw so many vehicles pouring out of the community. He quickly took out his mobile phone and sent a text message. At the same time, in a certain hotel room, Xiao Si turned off the phone that had just turned on, and looked a little more puzzled. It's strange, considering that no one among them has a treasure. As soon as he noticed Xing's gathering point, Xiao Si sent his subordinates to monitor nearby. When the battle mode was turned on, his men were nearby, and there were no red dots on the torturers, not even a single one. When the people around Xiao Si heard this, they pondered for 2 seconds and said, "Boss, maybe those people in Xing are too rubbish and didn't get a single treasure. It seems that punishment is nothing more than this." If this was really the case, then Xing would not have developed so far without being overthrown by other alliances. Xiao Si's eyes gradually became dark. There must be something weird. "Gucci, what method did you use?" "Boss, do we still need to dedicate some manpower to watch the execution now?" Press the original person's hand and continue to stare. "Yes." Xiao Si looked through the floor-to-ceiling windows at the night sky outside. "The battle mode is on, it's time for us to go find someone to play with." "Boss, there are a few unlucky guys nearby, and our people have already targeted them." Several people had panels open in front of them. The map on the panel was densely packed with thousands of red dots. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 810. Siwenman Geopark. A van parked next to the entrance of the geopark. The door opened, and Sutingyu and others got out one after another. "This is where the guidance machine is placed." Sutingyu looked at the phone screen several times before saying confidently. "The gates are closed, and there are walls." The fat man took a few steps closer, turned on the flashlight, and looked inside along the cracks in the iron gate of the park. Qin Chi walked around casually and suddenly kicked a wooden board at his feet. When he looked down, he found that it was a notice board that had been knocked down. As soon as the light of the flashlight shone, Qin Chi saw clearly what was written on it. Siwenman Geopark will undergo renovations in the near future. It is an important construction site. For your own safety, please do not approach it at will. Siwenman Geopark. 2021.7.3. Come here. Qin Chi turned to call. "What's the matter?" "Kikai." Sutingyu was the first to trot over and glanced at it. When she saw the last date, her eyes paused slightly, and then her phone screen lit up. Today is July 10th, 7 days have passed since the geopark closed for construction. Sutingyu counted the days with a serious look on his face. The longer this goes on, the worse it will be for them. The fat man scratched his head. "It does feel a bit desolate here. No one has been here for a while, but if it's construction, you can't tell. Let's go in first." Gucci read the contents of the notice board, turned around and walked towards the door. There was a lock on the iron gate of the park. When Gugu moved his fingertips slightly, a transparent silk thread crossed the lock body. Then, the lock head was cut in two and fell to the ground. Gucci pushed open the iron door and was the first to walk in. Seeing this, Sutingyu and others quickly followed in. Gucci obtained the internal map of the geopark on the internet, and the information obtained from the information center also marked an internal map of the geopark. The latter also has an additional marking location point to guide the machine. The guidance machine is placed in the deepest part of the geopark. Normally, tourists are not allowed to enter that area. Even the staff of the park need to pass strict inspections and hold passes. Now, because the geopark announced rectifications, tourists and unsuspecting staff have left the park. Following the route on the map, Sutingyu and the others did not encounter any trouble. The only thing they had to be careful about was to pay attention to the possible left-behind people or infected people in the park. Among the 5 people, Gucci was at the front, Fatty and Wei Chu were in the middle, and Qin Chi and Sutingyu were behind. All 5 of them had flashlights in their hands, but only Gucci, Fatty, and Qin Chi turned on the flashlights. The fat man rubbed the goosebumps on his arms. "It's eerie here, is it my imagination? Because this is a geological park, different small-scale natural scenery has been specially created. Along the way, there are strange mountain gravels, strange tree baths, there are many types. If this is normal business during the day, it will be highly ornamental. It's just that the night is dark and windy now, and the strange black shadows formed by those strange mountains in the night are like ghosts with teeth and claws, which is a bit penetrating. Hee hee. Suddenly, there was an intermittent gasp in front of Gucci. He paused in his footsteps, made a silent gesture to the four people behind him, and turned off the flashlight. Seeing this, Chin-Chi and Fatty also turned off their flashlights. The five people held their breath and concentrated, and their bodies were blocked by a huge boulder 3 to 4 meters high. Hee hee hee. The tiny voice became thicker and thicker, and seemed to be getting closer to the five people. Sutingyu carefully half-exposed his head, and relied on his excellent eyesight to clearly see the thing at the source of the sound. With disheveled hair and a half-tilted neck, he wandered around like a ghost, as if he was wearing some kind of work uniform. This is a guard in the park? I was infected after being in close contact with the black hole for a long time. Sutingyu's heart sank slightly. An infected person has appeared before the boot machine can be found, and there may be more in the future. Gucci lowered his voice, go around. The other four people did not speak and followed Gucci's footsteps. Wait, Sutingyu suddenly thought of something and spoke suddenly. What's wrong? Boss. Sutingyu recalled that in the basement of his hospital, he was still found despite being invisible. It was very likely that these infected people identified intruders through their breath. Sutingyu said it. The fat man looked a little panicked, then what should we do now? At this time, the tip of Wei Chu's nose moved slightly. He touched his nose with one hand and looked for something nearby. If we rely on breath to identify, then we can just cover up the breath on our bodies, right? When Wei Chu saw something, his expression relaxed, and then he asked the four of them softly. Ah, it's theoretically possible, right? Sutingyu was a little unsure, and where to find something that could cover his aura now. There are some strange plants over there. The juice in their branches and leaves has a strong smell. Wei Chu pointed in a direction. Gucci asked, are you sure? Okay, Wei Chu nodded. Then let's go over there first, Gucci said. So, under the guidance of Wei Chu, we found those strange plants. Before the skin of these plants was broken, the smell on them was still very light. Sutingyu brought it close to his nose and smelled it a few times, but he didn't find any strong smell at all. I saw Wei Chu crushing the branches and leaves of the plant with 2 fingers. Suddenly, a strong smell came out. The smell is so strong. Sutingyu covered her nose and moved a few steps away. Wei Chu acted very calmly, and then smeared the juice on his clothes. Is this possible? The fat man did as he was told, but he still felt a little uneasy when he smelled the strong smell on his body. Try it. If you are discovered, you will have to deal with it. Sutingyu also smeared it on himself. At present, it is not clear how many infected people are hidden in the geopark. It is best not to alert them if possible. The coats worn by the 5 people were all smeared with this juice, and the smell was indescribable. It's not that it smells bad, it's just that the smell is so strong that it becomes a bit intolerable. After smearing everything, the 5 people continued their detour. Hee hee hee. The infected person who appeared became a little restless, and his head kept turning around, as if he was looking for something. Obviously, he felt something. However, the 5 people were not completely noticed, and the juice smeared on their bodies was working. Seeing this, Sutingyu and the other 5 people could not waste a second, bypassing the infected person and continuing to go deeper. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Kei. Chapter 811. Going inside, Sutingyu and the other 5 gradually saw other infected people, all wearing uniforms. It seemed that the original guards had been infected. It's just that Sutinyu doesn't understand why these infected people are still wandering inside the park instead of going out. Sutinyu buried this doubt in her heart for the time being. Coming. Several people entered a cave. There were no infected people around, so Gucci spoke softly. The other 4 people continued to remain silent. After turning around several times, the sight in front of them suddenly opened up. It was no longer a dark and winding cave. In front of a few people, a large space with hollowed-out rocks and sand appeared. In the center, a machine similar to a water pump was quietly working. Run quietly. The volume of the water pump was several times larger than that of a normal water pump. After careful inspection, Sutinyu discovered that only the outer shell looked similar, and some of the circuit structures were not at all. Is this the guidance machine? Sutinyu pointed at the machine and turned to ask Gucci. Gu nodded and said, well, you can compare it with the photo on the profile. It's exactly the same. This guidance machine was made into a model of a water pump to achieve the effect of concealing it from others. If an unsuspecting person really breaks in, they will only marvel at the size of the water pump and ignore whether it is a water pump. The person behind the design and guidance of the machine is really good at calculating. Now that we've found it, why don't we just start smashing it? Sutinyu was a little eager to try. Sutinyu's meteor rod can be lengthened or shortened at will. So far, she has not really used the full strength of the rod. This water pump is so big, well, it will definitely be a blast to smash. Gucci, turn off the machine first, then smash it. Regarding the records of the true appearance of the black hole, there are no specific photos in the information. There are no animals or plants in the cave, and it is difficult to judge by the infection level of the surrounding plants. But now it seems, the black hole probably hasn't appeared yet. I'll go there first. As soon as Gucci said it, he saw someone jumping down from the protruding stone platform 1 step ahead of him. Sutinyu turned around and looked around him, but there was nothing there. It was Qin-Chi who had gone. Kikai, be careful. Sutinyu took out the meteor rod. If anything went wrong, she would smash the guidance machine. Qin-Chi circled the machine twice, found the switch, and turned off the machine. During this period, no problems occurred. After turning off the machine, Qin-Chi took out the ancient bronze sword and cut off the power lines one by one. That's it. Qin-Chi took back the ancient bronze sword and turned to look at the people above. He. Sutinyu rubbed his hands, and the meteor rod in his hand began to grow longer. Then it's my turn. Sutinyu remembered that she had the aura of being known as ERHA destroys the house. Well, it's not for nothing. Use it to dismantle it faster. Anyway, no one knows the name of this tidal halo except myself. Sutinyu easily convinced himself and jumped off the stone platform. A few seconds later. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Originally, Qin-Chi wanted to help, but seeing that Sutinyu was more than enough on his own, and seemed to be enjoying it, he hesitated on the spot and did not choose to take action. After 10 minutes of Sutinyu's hard work, there was only a pile of scrap metal left on the scene. Done. Sutinyu happily took back the meteor rod and looked at the masterpiece in front of him, feeling completely refreshed. Now that the machine is destroyed, we can leave. Gucci waited for Sutinyu to finish the work and then spoke slowly. Okay. The 5 people returned the same way, but still did not disturb the infected people in the park. Wow, this smell. After leaving the geopark, Sutinyu felt relaxed, and the heavy smell on his body occupied Sutinyu's senses. Fortunately, several of them were wearing coats. After taking off the coats, the heavy smell finally faded a lot. It's really difficult for an infected person to be able to recognize the breath of a living person. Sutinyu glanced out of the corner of his eye and saw the bustling high-rise buildings standing in the night not far away, and slowly exhaled a breath of turbidity. The black hole has not fully appeared yet. If only a few days pass, the number of infected people in SurvivalGate will increase and the current calm will remain. By then, the streets and alleys may be full of infected people. Is it possible that they have been smearing heavy scent on their bodies to cover their whereabouts? Guju, among all the people in Seeing, does anyone have any game props that can hide the whereabouts of Aura? Sutingyu naturally thought of using game props for the difficult problems given in the dungeon. It's a pity that Sutingyu's hat can only make him invisible and cannot hide his aura. I don't know. It's about trump cards, and I can't force all members to be honest. Gucci shook his head slightly, and the next second, he changed the subject. However, you can ask when you get back. Oh, Sutingyu wasn't too surprised when he heard this reply. This was expected. Gucci sent a text message to notify other members, and reminded them to find something with a strong smell to cover their own smell. However, Gucci also received some not-so-good news. Master Ju, it seems that the whereabouts of the brothers are being watched. Almost every time a treasure is found, a strange player will show up to disrupt the situation, and then we have to engage in a battle mode. Tonight's harvest may not be as good as last night's. There is a player who is disrupting the situation, and a brother says he looks familiar. He looks like someone from Xiaoxi's side. When Gucci read the news, his fingertips stopped on those two words, and his eyes deepened for a moment. Immediately, Gu moved his fingertips slightly and typed out a line of content. Try to avoid it. If you can't avoid it, the panel system does not restrict players in the same alliance from asking each other to fight. And after the fight is over, according to the rules, there will be a window period for refusing to fight. A few seconds later, a new message came. Okay. We'll do what you asked us to do. We'll make those idiots angry. Gucci made a few remarks, and the people opposite him quickly understood. The trip to the geopark is finally over. However, the night is still very long. It's not yet 3 o'clock in the morning, and tonight's first round of battle mode has not yet ended. The original plan of several people was to clear the geopark's guidance machine and continue participating in the battle mode. I found it. The nearest antique auction venue is surrounded by several streets dedicated to buying and selling antiques. In the car, the fat man swiped his phone screen and said to several people. Gucci didn't hesitate, just go over there and turn on the navigation. Okay, boss. Sutingyu was sitting in the back seat, with Qin Chi next to him. Sutingyu was still thinking hard about how to better hide his aura under the eyes of the infected. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 812. Now, under ideal conditions, the black hole has not completely appeared, and all the guidance machines in the SurvivalGate have been successfully cleared. Maybe the black hole crisis will be resolved. But Sutingyu didn't forget that this was a 9-star copy. According to the urine properties of the copy, Sutingyu thought on his feet, knowing that they would not be able to solve the problem so easily. There will definitely be some surprise or something, or a new problem. Sutingyu prepared for the worst. The black hole appears and swallows the SurvivalGate. The animals, plants, and NPCs in the city will gradually be infected. Nowadays, Sutingyu has only seen NPCs in their infected state. Ordinary attacks cannot completely eliminate the infected. They can resurrect from the dead. Only game props such as the Death Blade can cause substantial damage. 1 or 2 infected people still pose no threat to Sutingyu. But the infected people no longer have human instincts and consciousness. They are not tired or in pain and do not need to rest. Sutingyu needs to rest and eat. If the time comes, the whole city of Suwonman will be reduced to a black hole of delicacies, and all NPCs will become infected, and they can also recognize the breath of living people, leaving players with nowhere to hide and not enough rest time. After a few days, ordinary people will definitely collapse. What are you thinking about, Chi next to him asked softly when he saw Sotingyu's thoughtful and serious look. Ah, Sotingyu blinked, came back to his senses, puffed up his face slightly, and replied, I was just wondering, is there a better way to hide the aura so that the infected people don't find it? Hearing this, Chi was silent for a moment. Indeed, it is a problem. Hey, there should be game props with hidden auras in the mall system of the panel. It's a pity that the mall cannot be opened in the dungeon. I didn't prepare in advance. Prepare. Prepare game props. Sotingyu was stunned for a moment. As if something suddenly occurred to him, Sotingyu opened the panel. Occupation, Junior Magician. Professional binding item, magic wand given by Grain. Professional level, Silver, can be upgraded. Professional characteristics, spells, potions. Professional talents. 1. Chanting magic breath. By chanting a spell or carving a magic circle, the corresponding magic is activated by the magic wand. 2. Golden pharmacy. According to the formula, use various magic raw materials to prepare magic potions. 3. Unclear. Golden medicine. Sotingyu murmured these 4 words slightly, and then her consciousness penetrated into the storage ring. 2 seconds later, a book with a parchment cover appeared in Sotingyu's hand. Chi's eyes moved slightly when he saw this scene. Sotingyu flipped through the contents with anticipation. The one that can hide the aura, the one that can hide the aura, hiss, this level is a bit high. I don't seem to be able to refine it. Sotingyu really found the magic potion to hide the aura in the magic book, but another problem immediately appeared. Practice. System. No. Out. Come. Sotingyu refused to give up, look again, to see if there is a replacement. Hard work pays off. Sotingyu actually found a replacement magic potion. The magic potion that Sotingyu found was called, Random Interest Exchange Potion. As the name suggests, after taking this potion, the user's body will randomly emit a peculiar smell, covering up their true breath, which lasts for 1 hour. However, this potion has 2 disadvantages. 1. Randomness, that is, not knowing what strange smell will come out of oneself and cause social death. 2. Because the effect is only 1 hour, which is a bit short, if you take it too many times in a day, it will cause diarrhea and constipation. After all, you have to drink the medicine. In addition, Sotingyu also found a magic potion that can make the nose temporarily unable to smell the smell. The duration is 1 to 6 hours, and the length of the duration can be freely controlled according to the adjustment of the proportion of materials during the refining process. Sotingyu will naturally refine it into one that lasts for 1 hour, which corresponds to the time limit of the random breath exchange potion. If the random smell is unbearable, you can use this magic potion. Hey, the random interest exchange potion is an intermediate level, and I'm still a junior, but it's getting close. Why don't we try to be promoted to an intermediate magician in the dungeon? And then refine the potion. The disguise potion that Sotingyu's memory was about to break was a high-level potion. If she never advanced to the level of a magician, she would never be able to refine it. You can try it. Sotingyu suddenly made up his mind. During the day, you have to check in, and at night, the battle mode will also be turned on. You can only squeeze out free time to refine magic potions. The promotion of a magician is related to proficiency. To put it bluntly, it means working harder and spending more time. Chi, who was next to Sotingyu, looked at the former feeling happy and sad for a while, so excited that he almost jumped up, and then fell into deep thought. Chi couldn't help but stretched out his hand and gently tugged on the girl's sleeve. Big you. Before Chi could fully express what he had organized, Sotingyu suddenly turned his head, with bright eyes, and explained to the former with a smile, Kikai, I've thought of a way. Oh, that's good. Chi was startled for a moment, and seeing Sotingyu so happy, he nodded in agreement. Hee, I'm such a smart duck." In a moment of slipperiness, Sutinyu said what she was feeling proud of. The next second, Chin-Chi nodded again, "Yes." Cough cough cough. This made Sutinyu feel a little embarrassed, and her expression became serious. "Kikai, do you remember the disguise potion? I can refine a potion similar to hiding the aura, and it's done." "Does refining take time?" "Yes, I want to take the time to refine it." Chin-Chi pondered for 2 seconds and said, "What do you need?" "No need, I have all the materials." Sutinyu raised her chin slightly, her expression a little shy. Fortunately, she had a lot of materials prepared in the storage ring. Now she is refining a mere intermediate magic potion, which must be enough. Well. Sutinyu turned his head and looked out the window, wanting to see where he was now. Unexpectedly, as soon as she turned her head, something warm and soft was suddenly covered on her head. Just when Sutinyu looked back, she saw Chin-Chi closing his hands. The latter was sitting upright, as if nothing had happened. Was it Kikai who touched her head just now? Sutinyu blinked his big eyes, a little confused on his face. Before Sutinyu could recover, one of her little paws was held by Chin-Chi, the small hand and the big hand. The warm big hand wrapped the soft little hand. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuan-Kei. Chapter 813. The snow was falling heavily and the wind was biting. In the community park that used to be bustling, only bare tree trunks and cold leisure equipment remained, without any trace of activity by adults or children. Occasionally, there are adults and children passing by. As soon as the children want to go in, they are pulled away by the adults. While pulling him away, he scolded, "It's winter, what else are you playing with? Go home quickly and warm up." "Mom, there are people there too." The child who was taken away was unconvinced, squinting his neck and pointing to a corner in the snow. The woman glanced in the direction the child pointed and looked slightly stunned. She actually saw a chubby little figure, which seemed to be squatting. Whose child was this? Why don't adults take care of it? Many thoughts of the woman flashed through her mind, and then she turned her head and stopped paying attention to the child on the snow. It's not from her family. In the corner of the park, a little boy wearing a white children's down jacket squatted on the snow, curled up his hands and feet, and hugged himself into a ball to keep warm. Da-da-da. A series of footsteps sounded, and the little boy looked up again. I saw a little girl wearing a pink children's down jacket walking towards me. The little boy stood up quickly. "Hello, hello." The little boy finally came to see his long-awaited friend. His face, which was a bit cold due to the cold wind, had a slight blush. As always, he greeted him politely. But the little girl who had just arrived was not as energetic as before, and instead was hesitant to speak. After the two sat on the swing together for a while, the little girl gently bit her pink lips and said 4 words with difficulty, "I'm leaving." "Are you going home so early?" "But it's cold today, so you might as well go home early." Hearing this, the little boy simply thought that the little girl was saying goodbye to him as usual, and then would appear here again the next day. The little girl shook her head, "No. I moved. The new home is a bit far away. I don't know it yet. I might. I couldn't find the way here." The little boy's face was stunned, and he let out a dull "ah," then lowered his head and looked at his new shoes. Then, "Where is your home?" I. Can I go and play with you?" "Let's do this." The little girl seemed to have made up her mind and suddenly became energetic. "When I grow taller and a few years older and can recognize my way around, I will come back to play with you, okay?" Yeah. As soon as the little boy heard that he would come back to find him, he felt less uncomfortable, and his tone was so excited that he stuttered, then I, too. When I grow up, my mother can let me go out without worry. Now, I'll go and play with you. That's a deal. Well, no one is allowed to lie to others. Anyone who lies is a puppy. Pull the hook. The two children, who were still young and ignorant, had a beautiful agreement in their hearts when they parted. That year, he was 8 years old and she was 6 years old. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 814. It looks like we're going to be bidding on a big deal tonight. Really? Where did you get the news? I heard that several out-of-town sellers came here with goods and wanted to sell. Then tonight is going to be an eye-opener. In front of the door of the antique auction house, among the people coming and going, most of the topics exchanged among them were related to tonight's auction items. On the street next to the antique auction venue, the flow of people was relatively reduced, and a low-key black van slowly parked in a parking space. After the doors on both sides opened, Sutinyu and the 5 others got out of the car one after another. The 5 of them all knew that on the other side of the street was one of the more famous antique auction sites in SurvivalGame. However, the goal of the 5 people was not there, they still chose to pick up things on the street. Just look around here. Be careful of other unfamiliar players. If you encounter danger, remember to contact others. When Gucci said the last sentence, his eyes fell on the fat man and Wei Chu, who was not sure about their strength. You two team up together so you can take care of me. Gucci thought for a while and said again. The fat man happily accepted, okay, as long as the little pig doesn't mind me holding him back. How could it be? I still hope that Brother Feng will take care of me. Wei Chu scratched his head, his tone extremely sincere. Fatty and Wei Chu formed a team, while Sutinyu acted separately. Gucci glanced at the time on his phone, set a time, 2:40, and come back to gather. Good. Ken. Sutinyu chose a direction and set off directly. As before, go to each stall to scan the goods. Nowadays, more and more players know that treasures are historical relics. In order not to waste time, Sutinyu didn't even cut the price. As long as you are sure it is a treasure and ask the price, you will readily give the money. During this period, Sutinyu's panel kept popping up. I wonder if the panel can be hidden? Although other players can't see the content, but once they see the panel, their identity is directly exposed. When Sutinyu put a treasure into his bag again, he turned around and wanted to leave, but the way forward was blocked by a person. Brother, give me some space, Sutinyu said in a good voice. Give me up? Okay, hand over the things. The man pointed at the treasure in Sutinyu's hand. Tisk. Is this a player? Sutinyu reacted in a second, and then started to search for information. Feeling sleepy all day long, Sutinyu couldn't take any chances and sighed slightly. Follow the rules. Okay, the man agreed. Wait. There's me too. At this time, another figure came out, staring at Sutinyu and the other man with burning eyes. Sutinyu turned around and looked. Jiangnan. Oh ho. Here comes another male player. The male player at the beginning mocked, here comes another gift. You can be tough now, but don't cry and call me daddy later. The new male player taunted back, not to be outdone. The two went back and forth, and the two of them were full of gunpowder. Sutinyu, on the other hand, was petite, and was not taken seriously by these two people. As a result, the 3 people reached an agreement, and the panel popped up at the same time. It has been detected that a player has reached a fight intention after peaceful and friendly negotiations. Battle between both parties, Angel Su vs Sleepy All Day vs Jiangnan. The battle competition format will be drawn immediately. The draw is completed. The name of this fight competition is High and Low. Rules and content of the competition: whoever stands tallest in Fanley Street is the winner. The time limit is 10 minutes. The winner can claim any treasure from the loser. Sutingyu, What game rules are these? Sutingyu's mind was still confused, but her body responded honestly. Run away immediately. Then, his eyes kept scanning the buildings on both sides of the street. According to the content of the competition rules, the competition is obviously not just a height comparison. If it was really just a height comparison, Sutingyu would have given up. The mention of stand tallest in the rules of the game is a reminder to players that they can stand on high places to compete. Therefore, as long as Sutingyu finds the highest point and stands on it, he can win the game. However, the other two male players also understand such a simple truth. The rules of the competition limit the location. It's just this street. You can almost tell which building is the tallest at a glance. There are commercial buildings nearby, so it's easy to get there. That is the highest point. The three players in the competition locked onto a 10-story hotel almost at the same time and rushed in immediately. There are elevators inside the hotel, but even if Sutingyu thought about it with the hair of his head, he could think of two other people who would not ride together in a peaceful and friendly manner. So, Sutingyu silently took out a bottle of accelerating potion and drank it. In a short period of time, Sutingyu's speed increased a lot. Grass. She has a speed boost. Sutingyu gradually threw away the two male players, and the latter cursed while trying to catch up with Sutingyu. Sutingyu entered the hotel before the two of them and grabbed a waitress. Where is the elevator? The waitress pointed in the next direction with a confused look. Thanks. Sutingyu left two words and then slipped away like a gust of wind. When he found the elevator, Sutingyu pressed the elevator button and looked back while waiting. Fortunately, the elevator door opened quickly, and Sutingyu immediately entered and pressed the close button. Depend on. The moment the elevator door closed, Sutingyu saw the aggrieved expressions on the faces of the two belated male players. 2. 3. 4. Sutingyu stared at the elevator's moving floors, opened the panel, and looked at the countdown to the game. 3:10. In this amount of time, whether two male players are waiting for the elevator or climbing the stairs, they can reach the 10th floor. Ding dong. The 10th floor was reached, and the elevator door slowly opened. Sutingyu was thinking about finding something to block the elevator door to prevent the elevator from going down, but at the elevator door on the 10th floor, there was an NPC waiting for the elevator. As soon as the elevator door opened, people came in. Sutingyu had no choice but to give up the idea of blocking the elevator door. No, the 10th floor is not safe. The roof. Sutingyu began to look for a route to the roof. Sutingyu went around half a circle and found the stairs leading to the top of the building, but the door above was locked. It's not difficult. Sutingyu used the death blade to break the door lock, pushed the door open and walked out. There is a protruding area on the roof, which is specially placed for solar water heaters. Sutingyu estimated the distance, took out a foldable ladder from the storage ring, and climbed up the ladder. After climbing up, Sutingyu retracted the ladder little by little. When Sutingyu just put the ladder back into the storage ring, the two male players came over panting. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 815. Where did that dead girl go? Damn, where are the people? Sutingyu silently glanced at the countdown. 24:50. There she is. How did she get up there? It was not difficult to find the highest point on the roof. Soon, two male players discovered Sutingyu. As a last resort, Sutingyu had no choice but to wave her paws and say hello to the two of them. Hello, how are you all? You guys came up by the elevator, right? Are you tired? Do you want to sit down for a while and rest? Sutingyu suggested sincerely. And the countdown is about to enter the last 30 seconds. Two male players tried to climb up. One even took out a game prop and shot a barb into the wall. The rope that fell was held in the hand of the player. Seeing this, Sutinyu took out the miniature death blade without hesitation and cut the rope. Grass. The two male players used various methods, but were stopped by Sutinyu one by one. They could only watch the countdown end little by little. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time up. Congratulations to the player Angel Su for standing tallest and seeing the farthest. The future is bright. The high and low competition is over, the winner is Angel Su. Players on both sides, please abide by the rules of the game. The loser should give a treasure to the winner for free within 5 minutes. The winner should wait patiently for 5 minutes and pay attention to the inventory. Hey! 2 more treasures are in my pocket. Sutinyu looked very pleased after checking the contents of the panel. Then playing games. No one has played with her. Hey! Damn it! He was actually won by a little girl. The 2 male players looked unwilling, but under the supervision of the panel system, they each had to hand over a treasure to Sutinyu. After Sutinyu received the treasure, he was very satisfied. You too, if nothing happens, I will take the first step. Want to leave? What a beautiful idea. Be wise and obediently hand over all the treasures, and I will spare your life. After the 2 male players looked at each other, they reached an invisible consensus. Kick this little girl out of the game first, and then have the final battle between them. Seeing that the 2 male players had extra weapons on hand, Sutinyu blinked his big eyes and looked around. Oh, forgot. They were on the roof of the building now. It was dark at night, and no NPC would see what was going on above the building. The direction leading to the door was blocked by 2 people. A few meters behind Sutinyu was empty. If he stepped over the protective wall, he would just jump down slightly, and he would immediately fall into pieces. What do you want to do? Sutinyu raised his voice slightly. Stinky girl, you know you're afraid, right? It's too late. Be careful, in case she has any sinister props on her. Tisk tisk. Sutinyu shook his head slightly with regret, and the fear on his face subsided. These 2 male players aren't stupid, they haven't lost their guard at all. But Sutinyu took out the falling stick. The 2 male players immediately stood ready. When a lion fights a rabbit, he must use all his strength. This is a 9-star event dungeon, and few players are arrogant and fools. Sutinyu smiled and said kindly, you are very vigilant, but sometimes, if you are not serious, good results will come. As soon as the words fell, Sutinyu took action. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. 10 minutes later. Sutinyu returned to the street. It's a waste of my precious 10 minutes. I have to shed some blood. Sutinyu glanced at the dozen or so new treasures in the storage ring with a calm look on her face. Sutinyu paid attention to how long it was before the gathering time, while continuing to search for other treasures. During this period, Sutinyu met the player. The window period for the fight had not passed yet, and Sutinyu just wanted to refuse without hesitation, but when the words came to her lips, she changed her meaning. Want to ask for a fight? How about changing to a place with fewer people first? Sutinyu blinked her big sincere and harmless eyes. Okay. Strange players did not become suspicious. Although the strange player was always wary of Sutinyu, he did not expect that as soon as he reached a deserted corner, Sutinyu would suddenly attack and take out the huge meteor rod. Hit him with explosive output. At the beginning, the strange player was furious. Damn it! I knew you had bad intentions. 5 minutes later, the strange player held his head and begged for mercy. Don't fight, auntie, please don't fight. Bully Sutinyu snorted coldly, hurry up. Hand over all the treasures. I only have 3 pieces. The strange player rolled his eyes slightly, obviously a little dishonest. Sutingyu didn't waste any time. She first took the 3 treasures. After confirming that the owner of the treasures was her, she first put the storage ring away, and then, "How dare you play tricks? I'm telling you everything. If you don't give it, I will eliminate you right now." The elimination penalty for the 9-star dungeon was not low. Sutingyu used it to scare people. In the end, the strange player reluctantly gave out 3 more treasures and cried loudly, "Auntie, there really are none, even if you beat me to death, there will be nothing left." Will Sutingyu believe it? Of course I don't believe it. But getting 6 treasures at once is enough. The kind and generous Sutingyu let the unlucky player go. After this time, Sutingyu seemed to have unlocked the code to earn treasures. Before, she didn't want to bump into players, but now it's just the opposite. Of course, Sutingyu didn't succeed every time. Some players, even if they can't defeat Sutingyu, can still escape. And once he ran to a street full of NPCs, Sutingyu, who was carrying the falling stick, couldn't continue to chase him. He could only give up with regret, learn his lesson, and try not to let the next player run away. After waiting for the agreed gathering time, Sutingyu returned to the parking place to wait for others. The other 4 people came back one after another. "Get in the car first," Gucci said. After the 5 people got on the car, except for Sutingyu, the other 4 took out all their harvests and placed them in the car. Sutingyu accepted them all. "Now we're going to find other teams. We won't be participating in the next round of battles." Sutingyu and the 5 of them had planned to give up the 3-hour round of fighting and go back to rest and catch up on their sleep. "Finally, I can rest." Sutingyu leaned on the back of the chair and stretched a little. When the 5 people returned to the meeting point, tonight's second round of battle began. This time the map showed a duration of 10 minutes. After returning, Gucci first went to find out about the other members and asked Wei Chu to continue collecting treasures. Some members ran a little far away and haven't come back yet. 20 minutes later, Gucci came back, but his face seemed a little cold. "You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 816. "What's wrong?" Sutingyu asked first. Gucci said in a deep voice, "The other teams that went to clear out the guidance machines, 2 teams discovered that the black hole has appeared." "What?" After hearing the news, several people's faces were a little uneasy. Gucci told another piece of bad news, because they didn't understand the black hole, 4 members were sucked in by the black hole and disappeared. Fatty Nana said, "This black hole can still absorb people? Have the 4 people who were sucked in been eliminated?" Gucci, "The worst case scenario is to be eliminated. As for why he was eliminated, one possibility is that the interior of the black hole was judged not to belong to the Sivan Gate. If you leave the Sivan Gate before staying for 15 days, you will naturally be eliminated. Another possibility is that the player has died in the instance." "What about the other 4 areas?" Qin asked. Gucci glanced at him and said in a calm voice, "Fortunately, the guidance machines in the other 4 areas have been successfully cleared. What is known now is that 2 black holes have appeared. It would take more than 15 days to completely swallow up the Sivan Gate. The only unstable factor now is that we don't know whether other black holes will appear in the future." The fat man was worried about Zhong, then. "It's okay for now." Gucci glanced at the others and said slowly, "Let's all go rest first. Sutingyu, come here." Oh, Sutingyu followed Gucci and left without knowing why. The 2 chose an unoccupied room and went in. "What's going on?" Sutingyu asked. "Gucci, the game props that hide information you mentioned before. I just asked around and 10 people revealed that they have similar game props." 10, that's a bit less. Sutingyu made an estimate. Tomorrow morning, borrow some props and go to the city hall again. Gucci briefly explained his plans for tomorrow, and then asked, "What kind of potion are you using? Is it reliable?" When they were in the car, Sutingyu and Qin-Chi's conversation was not deliberately hidden from other people, so Gucci also heard it. It was about his own face, so Sutingyu said without hesitation, "Of course it's reliable, but I need time. Then after you clock in tomorrow, come back to make the medicine. We can go to the city hall." "Yeah, okay." Sutingyu had exactly the same plan. After leaving with Gucci, Sutingyu went to find Wei Chu, put the treasures collected by Wei Chu into his storage ring, and then went back to his room to rest. Copy time, 6:50. After Sutingyu slept comfortably for more than 3 hours, she got up and had breakfast. When Sutingyu came to look for Qin-Chi and the others, he found that they all looked a little strange, so he asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Boss, something happened, it seems." The fat man swallowed the bun in his mouth and replied. Sutingyu saw that several people were looking at the computer screens on the table, so he walked around half a circle and walked in. "Grass, this morning, why did the central hospital suddenly notify us that the building would be closed? My child has a high fever and I was thinking of going to the hospital, but several major hospitals nearby were closed. What happened? Who knows the inside story?" Here comes the inside story. It is said that a new type of infectious virus has appeared in the city. Many people have been infected and become infected. In order to control the spread of the virus, all major hospitals were closed overnight. Infectious virus, this, when did this happen? Why are there no signs at all? Maid, it must be the virus brought by those outsiders. What does this have to do with outsiders? We spend money to travel to relax and enjoy ourselves, but what kind of virus are we encountering now? Get your money back quickly. Hotel fee, transportation expenses, tour guide fee. This is a new post on Sewinman. Looking at the time, it is 5:25 this morning. Later, the quarrel turned into insults between locals and outsiders. The matter of infected people can't be dealt with after all. Sutingyu expressed his opinion after reading the whole article. This is a not very good signal. Our actions and prevention work need to be accelerated, Gucci continued. In addition, our gathering point also needs to be reselected. There are still too many people around here. If Sivan Gate falls by then and there are infected people everywhere, we will be easily discovered by smelling the smell. When Sutingyu was about to say something, the panel popped up. "Dear Angel Suplayer, hello, your 19th journey point in Sivan Gate is, Linfen Breeding Farm. Please arrive at the target site within 2 hours, thank you for your cooperation." "Are you going to check in?" Sutingyu quickly grabbed a bag of steamed buns and a cup of soy milk on the table. "Gucci, let's go." Just like yesterday, the criminal members who refreshed to the same check-in team formed a team with each other and drove there together. This time, the check-in points refreshed by Sutingyu were only the same as those of Qin-Chi and Fatty, while the check-in points of Gucci and Wei Chu were in another place. Without hesitation, the 5 people separated. Sutingyu wanted to refine the medicine while on the road. As soon as this request was made, Gucci arranged a separate car for Sutingyu and the 3 of them. Qin-Chi and Fatty both sat in the front and took turns driving, leaving space in the back for Sutingyu to refine the potion. Sutingyu opened the panel and switched to the interface for refining potions. "Kikai, drive more carefully." "Yeah," Qin-Chi responded. After the car started moving, Sutingyu also started refining the medicine. Sutingyu needs to refine an intermediate random interest changing potion and a primary smell disappearing potion. Sutingyu held the magic book in her arms and followed the above steps. She first began to refine the elementary smell disappearing potion to improve her proficiency. After being promoted to an intermediate magician, she then refined the intermediate instant breath changing potion. As for how to check proficiency, Sotinho clicked on his professional title of Junior Magician and a small interface would appear with a progress bar inside. When Sotinho's progress bar is filled up, it means that he has gained enough basic proficiency and can try to be promoted to an intermediate magician. Of course, it does not necessarily mean you will be promoted to an intermediate magician once your proficiency is reached. Sotinho had read the book given to her by teacher Glenn, which also recorded some cases of magicians who failed to be promoted many times. Now, Sotinho was refining bottles of primary smell disappearing potion bit by bit. Sotinho's refining efficiency was 60% at the beginning, and gradually increased to 90%. That is, out of 10 bottles, 9 were successfully refined. As long as one bottle is successfully refined, Sotinho's proficiency will increase. Although it is slow, it still feels like an accomplishment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 817. Congratulations to the player Angel Su for completing the check-in achievement of visit here at Linfen Breeding Farm. The 20th journey point is, Wansheng Hotel. Please arrive at the target site within 2 hours, thank you for your cooperation. Congratulations to the player Angel Su for completing the visit here achievement at the Wansheng Hotel. The 21st journey point is, Yaitani Port. Please arrive at the target site within 1 hour, thank you for your cooperation. After completing the 3 check-ins in the morning, Sotinho was driven back to the meeting point by Fatty, while Qin Chi got off the bus and headed to the city hall to meet Gucci and the others. But before Qin Chi left, Sotinho gave Qin Chi 2 bottles of disguise potion and an invisible hat. Sotinho poked her head out of the car window. Here, you can make yourself invisible by wearing this one. There are also 2 bottles of disguise potion for you to use urgently. Okay, Qin Chi nodded slightly and reached out to gently touch Sotinho's head. Qin Chi took a few steps back, away from the car. Fat man. The fat man responded, okay, boss, sit still. Hearing this, Sotinho retracted his head. Qin Chi watched the car leave before turning around and leaving. After Sotinho returned to the meeting point, she first went to have lunch with Fatty, then went into the room and continued to refine the potion. And when it was time to clock in the afternoon, he asked Fatty to continue driving her to clock in, and she continued to refine the potion in the car. In a hotel room. Xiao Si received the news from his subordinates, then turned to look at a person in the corner. Gucci didn't go back. What does it have to do with me? Came a casual tone from the corner. Xiao Si looked at the man and smiled softly, but the girl you want to kill seems to be called Angel Su. She is back now. Hearing this, the expression on the man's face changed slightly. I'm curious, Li Ji, you never care about women, why did you focus on a woman this time? There was a hint of amusement in the corner of Xiao Si's mouth. Xiao Si, curiosity killed the cat. The man stood up from the sofa. You came to me in every possible way. You want to cooperate with me, but I am not begging you. If you shouldn't ask, don't ask. That's okay. Xiao Si didn't get angry, but had an unusually good temper. My people will track the girl you want to kill in real time. If you think it's time to take action, I can help you. How about it? Now is also a good opportunity to take action. Gucci and the man who has been following the girl are gone. Xiao Si secretly encouraged. I have my own plans. Okay, I'll wait. For the whole noon, Sotinho stayed in the room refining potions. Huh? There are no materials, then we can only use another one to refine it. Sotinho had just successfully refined a bottle of smell disappearing potion, but found that one of the ingredients had been used up by her. Sotinho has now refined 420 bottles of smell disappearing potion, and her proficiency has improved a lot, but it is still not full. Sotinho estimated that she might need to refine hundreds of bottles of primary potions to reach full proficiency. So, Sotinho went to find other elementary magic potions. When he saw which one was more practical, he started refining it. Unconsciously, Sutinyu spent the entire noon. Dear Angel Su player, hello, your 20-second journey point at Sivan Gate is, Agate Tower. Please arrive at the target site within 2 hours, thank you for your cooperation. Checking in again? Sutinyu temporarily stopped refining the potion, stood up and walked out of the room. Boss, the clock has been refreshed. Mine is the agate tower outside the door. The fat man had already come to guard the clock before it was refreshed. The reason is that the distance between the two people is close and the same check-in point can be refreshed. Same, let's go. Sutinyu walked down the stairs first. By the way, are Kikai and the others back? The fat man shook his head. No, but with the strength of the boss and brother Chin, there is no need to worry. That's right. When the second check-in point is refreshed, Fatty, you can call and ask. Okay. Fatty drove the car and left the meeting point with Sutinyu. Just as the two left the meeting point, Li Ji, who was in the hotel, also received the news that the two had left. When I came out, there was only a useless fat man beside me. Li Ji set off immediately. Coincidentally, his check-in point was also in the same direction where Angel Su left. Angel Su, last time I was just unlucky. This time, it's time for you to be unlucky. At this time, City Hall building, on the 22nd floor. Damn ants, let me catch you. Go to hell, you are all going to die, ha 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 ha. Boom. Amidst waves of incompetent and furious roars, an explosion suddenly sounded from the top of the City Hall. Immediately afterwards, thick smoke billowed. Outside the city government building, Wei Chu was waiting by the car and was shocked when he heard such a big movement above his head. What did the two of them do? When pedestrians and vehicles near the City Hall heard such a loud noise, some stopped and looked at the top floor of the building, talking among themselves. What happened? Why is there smoke in the building? Is it on fire? Quick! Call the fire department quickly. Wei Chu waited for a while and finally saw the figures of Qin Chi and Gu Qi, both of whom rushed here. Seeing this, Wei Chu opened the front and rear car doors and got into the back seat of the car. After the two came over, they got directly into the car. Gu Qi stretched out his hand, key. Wei Chu handed the car key to Gu Qi, who took it, immediately started the car and left the place. Boss, you are up there. Gu Qi was panting slightly, secretly adjusting his breathing, and responded coldly, I didn't expect that there is a guidance machine above the city government. Ah, Wei Chu was startled, the movement just now. The guidance machine exploded, but there is still a guidance machine inside Sivan Gate. Gu Qi briefly explained the situation. Gu Qi learned this information from the mayor's secretary, who was no longer a human being or a ghost. The mayor's secretary also became an infected person, but he seemed to still retain some consciousness and did not completely become a complete monster. Qin Chi turned around and said, the check-in points, all check-in points must be thoroughly investigated. Gu Qi replied, there are too many check-in points and the scope is too large. I hope I can make it in time. Wei Chu, who was sitting in the back, gradually understood the meaning from the conversation between the two. His face became silent, and he didn't know what he was thinking.